So we launched our game in November of last year, and clearly we didn't get it quite right.
Whoo! You think? Hey everyone, it's me, Aaron, and it is that time of the year again. That time where I completely forget that all the conferences for E3 actually begin a couple days before the official kickoff date for E3. Yeah, I didn't think we'd have to do these for another couple of days, but sure enough, today, EA came in here and kicked everything off. And as always, I'm going to be doing shows talking about my reactions to all the announcements made at E3. However, last year I combined Ubisoft, Bethesda, and EA all into one show because I just didn't have that much to say about each of them. But this year I decided, you know what? I'll give every single one of them their own show because EA pooped the bed so bad right at the beginning of the freaking conference that I looked at that and went, I can't tatter the good name of Bethesda and Ubisoft by including this riffraff in here with them. I have to have an entire show dedicated to talking about what the hell they did wrong at this year's E3. EA, oh my god, okay, so I know that I have a wide variety of people who watch my channel. I know that I have a lot of comic book fans who just watch the comic book shows. I know I have a lot of movie fans who just watch the movie reviews on the weekends. And then of course we have the video game fans. But I know that when it comes to E3, a lot of even the non-video game fans tune in. So you might be wondering, why is everyone so mad at EA? EA went into this conference with more emotional baggage behind them than, I don't know, every single one of my crazy ex-girlfriends all rolled into one. EA has become the king of microtransactions. They have become the king of the pay-to-play version of video games. And that really reached a peak with Star Wars Battlefront 2, where they took the good-hearted loot box system that other video games had tried to use that was nothing but cosmetic stuff, and typically you could earn in the game. And they made it stuff that actually provided you with stat boost, that actually increased your abilities, making you better at the game, and then they made it so hard to earn loot boxes in the game itself that the only way that you could really actually earn these prizes was to actually pay for them. And as I said, in these loot boxes, you would gain abilities and stat boost that would actually make you so much better at these games. And again, it was completely random. It was a loot box. You were basically just gambling. They f***ed up so bad on this, they had to actually get the law involved in this. All across the world, countries were looking at what they were doing with this and going, does this actually count as gambling? Because then you can't sell it to kids. Or you can't sell it at all in our country. Yeah, I have never seen someone screw up so bad. They were the biggest news story in the gaming industry last year. So they went into this with a lot of people holding up them torches and getting a match ready in the other hand. They had to wow everyone. And wow, they didn't. Okay, it wasn't all bad. Let's go ahead and just talk about everything that they showed off there. And by everything, I mean everything except for the sports games. I know that there are a lot of people out there who love esports games, and you were really invested in what they had to say about FIFA and about Madden and all the other sports games they were showing off. I don't care about sports games. I really don't. And I would love to come in here and just talk about everything that they showed off. But hey man, if I have zero interest in those games, I ain't got anything to say. I had someone on Twitter tell me that the worst thing that they did was that FIFA thing. And that's all they said. And I was just looking at like, what was bad about FIFA? I care nothing for FIFA. What was the bad thing they did in that? So I understand there's some people pissed even about the sports games that they showed off. I really don't care about them sports games. So yeah, we're not going to be talking about those, but we will begin by talking about Battlefield 5, which they announced the thing that everybody was kind of assuming, that there was going to be a Battle Royale mode. That is the big new hotness in the video game industry right now, is giving your game a Battle Royale mode, because ever since PUBG exploded, and then ever since Fortnite, took their lunch and exploded even higher than they did. We will talk about PUBG tomorrow. Ever since they really exploded, everybody just wants a piece of that action. Everybody wants to create a Battle Royale mode. So yeah, we got Battle Royale in Battlefield 5, which, man, here's the thing. I've tried Fortnite, and I look at Fortnite, and I even watch other people playing Fortnite, and I'm like, you know what? That looks fun. That looks incredibly creative, it looks lighthearted, it looks like a good thing to just go in there, you can just play a couple rounds, bam, you're done. It looks incredibly fun. I don't really enjoy playing Fortnite, and I've tried a little PUBG as well. I don't really enjoy PUBG either. I just don't really like Battle Royale. That's just my thing. Listen, I've given it a shot. Just not for me. I'm not coming in here and judging it. I'm not coming in here and saying, oh, this is bad because of this. I don't think that Battle Royale modes are bad. I totally see the appeal of them. I just never really have fun playing them. So you could add a Battle Royale mode to whatever game you want. I'm never really going to touch it. But it is just honestly shocking me how much Battle Royale modes have exploded. It is just totally shocking me that they have become that popular. I have not seen something like this in the video game industry since I gotta go way back to when I was a kid. I gotta go back to when Street Fighter 2 hit the arcades and it blew up, and then all of a sudden every company out there was putting out there some crappy Street Fighter ripoff. I have not seen anything in the gaming industry since that far back. So yeah, we all kind of saw this coming, no real big surprise there. So from there, they showed off some sports stuff. As I said, I'm not talking about any of that. And then they went into Star Wars Battlefront 2, which, man, again, this is the main thing that got everyone so mad at them last year. Again, it's not like they did this and then suddenly everybody hated them. EA had been screwing up for a while now, but this was the straw that broke every camel's back all at the same time. They went into this and I was just stunned that they had the balls to come in front of all these gamers out here who were just ready to tear them apart over Star Wars Battlefront 2. And they were willing to talk about it. And they came in there and they said, yeah, listen, we didn't do the best job with the launch of it. Understatement of the decade there. They said that they didn't do the best job, so rather than hitting the ground running, we had to spend some time working with stuff, which I know it's not. I know it is not this, but it kind of almost feels kind of like they're pointing a finger at the audience and blaming them in a small kind of way, because when they say things like, yeah, rather than hitting the ground running, we had to spend all this time fixing stuff. I know that that's them saying we had to fix things because we screwed it up, but it also kind of sounds like, guys, you do not understand what a kick-ass game we had. We were gonna do such incredible stuff here. It was gonna be the biggest game imaginable. You were all gonna love it. You have no idea what we had in store for this game. It was gonna blow your mind. Guess you'll never see that, because, you know, those loot boxes over there, we had to go and fix that problem over there. It's like, it almost kind of feels like shifting the blame a little bit, but they're shifting the blame to themselves. But when you say, hey man, it was gonna be amazing, if it wasn't for that darn loot box, it's like, no, dude, this was going to be because you screwed up at the very start. You can't come in here and say, I totally would have won that marathon if I hadn't have just stumbled there right at the start. It's like, no, yeah, man, if you kind of up that bad at the very beginning, what made me think that you were going to keep running just fine throughout the rest of the race? So yeah, and like I said, it almost kind of feels in a small, tiny way like they're kind of pointing at the audiences out there going, guess you don't want to see the really cool thing we were going to do with this because y'all got mad at them loot boxes. Oh well, again, I know that's not what they're doing, but it kind of feels that way to me. So yeah, they kind of tried to apologize about that, and they did talk about all the new features they're going to have, including a lot of cosmetic stuff, which that was another problem that people had with Star Wars Battlefront. Because they said, hey, how come there's no real cosmetic stuff in here? And they're like, well, then you would just be messing with the canon of it. If you created like a pink Darth Vader, that was the example that they used. It's like, brother, it's a video game. None of this stuff in this actually happened. You're just going around blasting people. Like, Darth Vader never popped out of a loot box in the old movies either. It's all just for fun. If someone wants to get cosmetic crazy crap with their characters, let them have that. So they came in here, and that definitely felt like an apology, them coming in here and saying, yeah, we're going to add all this cosmetic stuff. But yeah, man, it was not really quite the big apology that a lot of people were expecting. It was something. They gave us something. And speaking of giving us something, they gave us the name of their next Star Wars game. I'm not going to say what it is, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all what the name of their next Star Wars game is, because they didn't show us any gameplay, they didn't show us a trailer, they didn't show us a logo, no still shot or anything. That is not an announcement. It is not an announcement when you come in here and just say, Star Wars, the blankety blank blank, because that means nothing. All it means is that you have another Star Wars game coming. And we knew you had another Star Wars game coming. It's not like, say, if at, it's not like if, say, at last year, at E3, we got that trailer for, actually it wasn't last year, it was like 2 years ago, but 2 years ago we got that trailer for Resident Evil 7. Imagine if instead of showing the trailer, they had just come out here and just said, Resident Evil 7 is a thing, we are working on that. Not nearly as big of an announcement as actually showing it to us, but at that time we had no idea that Resident Evil 7 was a thing. It was a complete surprise, so that still kind of would have surprised us. This is them coming in here and just saying, we're making another Star Wars game. We all knew that. You can give it whatever name you want, unless that name is The Revenge of Darth Maul, unless that name is The Death of Darth Vader, unless that name is Obi-Wan Kenobi's Crazy Weekend Adventure. It doesn't tell us anything. It doesn't give us any info. By the way, I know that I just said The Death of Darth Vader and somebody's like, he died in the movies. You know that, right? I was just throwing names and verbs in there, okay? Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, if you had given us like a character name or something, we could kind of told something from that. This means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And at this point, like, if you look at the host, I don't know her name, but if you look at the person who was hosting this, you could tell, like you could do that old Simpsons meme of, look, you can see the exact second when their heart breaks. You could tell that was the moment when they kind of realized, oh, this audience is not going to enjoy anything that we're showing now. Like, you could tell they were trying, and God bless that host. That host was trying her butt off to get people excited for this, but you could tell in that instant, these guys are not giving me anything to work with. There is nothing here that is going to get this crowd excited, because these idiots don't know how to put on a show. Next up, they got into the indie portion of the show, and it started with the most meta line of this entire show. Because the first thing that they showed was Unravel 2, which I didn't know they were working on that. That was a really good surprise. Bigger surprise is it's available now. I freaking love that about E3. Anytime that they come in here and say it's available now, I get excited. I love that stuff. So Unraveled, hey, that was a super cute game. All right, very cool. They came in here. Unravel 2 is not only a thing, it's here. But the guy introducing it had the best line. He said that in Unravel, they use yarn to symbolize hope and love and trust. And in Unravel 2, we start by ripping all of that up, by destroying that. However, when things are at their darkest, you find hope. That is the biggest metaphor for when Unravel 2 came up on screen that you could possibly have made. Because it's EA. Oh my god, they got the Star Wars games. They have destroyed the Star Wars games. They have taken all that love and ripped it up and destroyed it. And then they just came in here and this show has just been nothing but darkness so far. But at its darkest moment, oh my god, look, the indie games are coming in, everybody! Yay! So Unravel 2 came in, it's gonna now be co-op, you're gonna get to play as both two little yarn guys, and oh, it's gonna be so nice and heart-touching. But then it goes into Sea of Sorrow. And all I can say is, this was like the second highest trending game from EA on Twitter after this conference. I am proud of you, Internet, because this game blew me away. This is the only game, like I said, Unravel, hey, cool, Unravel, no, Unravel. This is the only one that got me really excited. Sea of Sorrow is the only one that actually made me go, oh my god. This looks incredible. Sea of Sorrow, they start off by having this, having the creator of the game come up there and basically talk about how in this world, when people's sadness gets too high, when people are too lonely, they turn into monsters. That is not a hard metaphor to read into. Like, this is definitely going to be a game about dealing with emotional trauma, with dealing with psychological issues, with mental illness, with depression. It's going to be a game about dealing with all that kind of stuff. And I play a lot of indie games, so I've played a lot of games about that same thing. Oh my god, I love those games. Those games will always tug at my heartstrings. They'll always get me to just be a big bawling mess by the end of them. And I was watching this thing like, yeah, this one's gonna do it too. The art style of this is amazing because it starts off with you and you are just this girl and you're on a boat, but you're on a boat in this world that has been flooded. Like, it doesn't look like futuristic post-apocalyptic world has been flooded. It looks like, you know, today, like some city just got flooded. And yeah, it looked incredible. It's got this nice like painted style to it going, painted cell shade look going to it. She's on this boat and you can see like her emotions messing with her. Like, she's on the boat and you see like hands reaching out of the water to grab her. It's like, yeah, you definitely know that's supposed to be like something going on inside her head. There's a moment when she's walking through her old school and she sees like the shadows of other people looking at her. Like, holy cow, that was really deep in that moment. But then you see actual giant monsters. And I was looking at that like, okay, are the monsters also in her head? Are the monsters like her depression? Are they the darkness inside of her trying to attack her? Or they say in this world, when you're too lonely, when you get too sad, like you turn into a monster. Are these other people who have fallen to this? Is this like a thing that everyone is going through? Is this not just in her head? Is this something actually happening in the world? And you're having to now battle other people who have fallen to this. But yeah, the girl looks incredible. I like that she has this great, like, she's still human, but she's definitely turning into a monster look to her. I love the design of the monsters themselves. This looked like indie game version of Shadow of the Colossus. That's what this reminded me of. I don't exactly know what the gameplay is going to be like, but God, I am all on board for this. I cannot wait for this game. That's the last time you're going to hear me say that throughout the rest of this conference. I just realized I called it Sea of Sorrow. It's actually Sea of Solitude. Still a very sad name. But then they went into talking about Madden, and I don't care about Madden. So they came in here, did a whole bit with the big champion of Madden. Hey, if you like Madden, great, awesome, cool. I don't care about Madden, so skip it. And then it went into what I am going to go ahead and say. I should not be saying this on day one. It's bad luck to say something like this on day one. But I'm going to say it on day one. They went into what is easily going to be the biggest flub up of the entire E3. Like, this is the moment on day one that people are going to point to next year and make fun of. This will be the thing that people will be parodying in skits next year at their E3 conference to go, hey, remember when someone did this? Wasn't it stupid? They came in here and promote a mobile game, which, hey, mobile games are fun. They're fun, but it's not what E3 is about, man. Mobile games are their own beast, their own separate thing. That is not what E3 is about. And you can come in here at your E3 show and talk about a mobile game if you have like 20 other games to talk about. EA had maybe 10 that they were talking about? Maybe? So to stop for a massive chunk of their hour-long show to talk, no, hour-and-a-half long show, to talk about a mobile game. It just made me look at it like, you don't really have a lot going on here, do you? And then I also had to stop and realize, aren't these the guys the king of microtransactions? Aren't mobile games just basically designed to be nothing but microtransactions? Just, hey, you want to get this thing in the game? $5. That's how you do it. That's how you move forward. It's like, oh, fuck. Yeah, it's a match made in heaven. Or hell. Yeah, this is not something that I ever wanted to see during an EA conference. But they went further with it. It's not that they came in here and they said, we're going to talk about a mobile game for a good 10 freaking minutes. We're then going to bring on these two mobile game champions, which I didn't know was a thing. But okay, sure, great. They brought on these two mobile game champions and had them compete against each other in this new mobile game. As it, with its tiny, fits-on-your-phone graphics up there on the giant screen, as we watch just these little things move around the screen. And then they had two sports commentators up there just going, oh my god, he's moving into this thing, he's doing this over here, he's sending in another group there, oh, he upgraded his tank, oh my goodness, he just spent a $2 to upgrade the tank. He didn't actually say that part, but you know that's how this game actually works. And then when the game was over with, I just sat there like, who the f thought it was actually a good idea to have people do sports commentary on a mobile game at your E3 show? There could be bigger screw-ups this year at E3, but if there are bigger screw-ups, I honestly think it'll be stuff like, oh, the controller for this demo didn't work. It'll be like a couple of years ago when they were showing off Final Fantasy 15, and the guy they handed the control to fight the boss didn't know how to use the controls, and it was just nothing but 5 minutes of watching him get his ass kicked over and over again. Listen, man, in their head, that was going to work out great, because all you had to do was play the game. How'd they know that this guy wouldn't know how to play the game? Yeah, that is an accidental screw-up. That is something that did not go as planned. This went exactly as planned, and oh my god, no one wanted this. No one was excited for this. No one was asking for this. And they dedicated a giant chunk of their show to the thing that no one wanted. And you know no one wanted this, because when the mobile game champions came out, the camera followed behind them. So you got to see the audience. That audience was lifeless. That audience was like hunched over their chairs, just, oh god. I saw one person clapping, but he couldn't even get his hands up. He was just... How it must have felt to be those mobile game champions walking out there like, yeah, I'm at E3, and you just see that crowd of people staring at you like, what is this? Why are we doing this? Just to see that many people staring at you with such little care in their eyes. I feel so bad for those guys. I really do. In their mind, this was gonna be great, and it so wasn't. But Jesus, EA, who told you this was a good idea? I am stunned that they thought this was a good decision. But then the kicker, they probably said this when they announced the game. They probably did. But I wasn't paying attention at that point, because I was just honestly looking at it like, what? Is a mobile game? Mobile? You're talking about a mobile game during your E3 show. Huh? What? So I didn't even hear the name of the game. But then they played a trailer for it. And the trailer is all these giant special effects and people running across the field, and like, you have to show us that before you show us the crappy gameplay. You can't get us hyped up for a game after we have seen it's not this. You can't come in here with a trailer for a game after we watch the gameplay that is so not what's in that trailer. This is completely the wrong order to do this. And at the end of it, it revealed it's the new Command and Conquer game. They turned Command and Conquer into a mobile game, and we have been Twitch streaming every single one of the shows. We are going to do that throughout the entire E3. Every single conference, we are going to Twitch stream over at twitch.tv/ProfessorThorgE. And I was looking at that chat, and there were people there who were Command and Conquer fans. And on Twitter, I talked about this, and I got contacted by Command and Conquer fans. And they told me they were pissed about this. And I can't blame them. I can only imagine being a fan of Command and Conquer and waiting on that new game, just holding out. It's gonna get here, it's coming, and then it's a mobile game. I cannot imagine if like suddenly Capcom came out and said, hey, Resident Evil, you know how you love that franchise? It's a mobile game from now on. That's it. It's now always gonna be a mobile game. My heart would break. So my heart is kind of breaking for you Command and Conquer fans. Oh my god. And then this ended with Anthem, which is the one thing that everybody was looking forward to. Everyone was waiting on Anthem. In fact, even throughout the course of the show, when they were talking about the big plans they had, they would slap Anthem up there on the screen behind them just to let everyone know, hold on, it's coming. Anthem, it's around that corner, baby. Anthem is on the way. Anthem came up, and I'll be totally honest with you guys. I know a lot of people were looking forward to Anthem. I really wasn't interested in Anthem. We had seen a couple small trailers for Anthem before. This was the first time that we really saw gameplay, that we got an explanation of what the world is, that we really got to delve into all this. but I remember from the few small gameplay, from the few small trailers that we had gotten in previous years, I looked at it and just went, yeah, it just looks like Destiny. That's it. I get no attachment to anything in this. Nothing against Destiny either, just, not my type of game. So yeah, I just was not interested in Anthem at all. And after I saw this, I can fully say I'm still not interested in this at all. But I don't know why. Because they came in here and they showed the gameplay. I was like, that looks like fun gameplay. That does look like fun gameplay. And they talked about the world and the whole weird-ass mythology behind this world that the gods who created it left, but now there's all the big holy weapons just sitting around and all this weird godly energy, and you've got these mech suits and you're going out into the jungle into monster hunter territory to find all this stuff, and you gotta battle these big creatures there. Sounds freaking awesome. I don't care about it at all. And honestly, I think the reason why is just the art style of it. None of the mechs that these people use look interesting to me. I will say that you can customize the mechs by giving them different paint jobs, and those look interesting enough. They looked a little bit better there. But yeah, man, over the years, I've come to realize one of the main things I care about in games is characters. It is the flavor of the game. And I looked at this, and as far as the characters, I didn't really care about them. None of them really strike me as anything. In fact, the big tank-looking guy that you play as, man, he looks incredibly basic to me. The other guys at least have some personality to them. That big tank thing that you're going to be walking around, that looks so bland to me. So yeah, I got like no attachment to these characters. But as far as like the actual world and what you're actually doing, I looked at it like, well, it kind of looks like Destiny combined with Monster Hunter. And then other people in the chat as we were watching kept going, it looks to me like this. It looks to me like that. It looks to me like this thing over here. And I just thought, this just looks like a bunch of other things that we've already played. I don't really look at this and see something that strikes me as unique and interesting. I look at this and go, oh, it's this thing. And yeah, I know, but the thing is, when you look at it on paper, when you look at the description that they gave you, it sounds original enough. It sounds like its own thing, but I didn't feel any originality from it. And it could just be that, hey man, EA has burned the entire gaming industry for far too long. Hell, I didn't even talk about what they did with Mass Effect. There's one moment in here when they brought up Mass Effect and I was like, it's not safe to mention Mass Effect right now. We haven't forgiven you for Andromeda just yet. So yeah, maybe it's because it is EA. Maybe it's because it came at the end of this conference where I just didn't care about anything. Like if they had opened with this, man, maybe it would be a different story. Maybe I would be fully into this thing. But yeah, it could just be that it was at the end of a long-ass string of, oh my god, what are you doing? So all enthusiasm was kind of gone, but I didn't care about this at all. I have zero interest in Anthem. I mean, even at the end, the giant spider bug monster comes down. I looked at it and went, yeah, it's just a big blob with spider legs. That's it. Like, I get no flavor from that. I get nothing interesting from that. Like, I think about giant boss fights that I've had in the past couple of years with monsters, and yeah, they all look way better than what we saw there at the end, but then again, we didn't see anything at the end. The way that this thing ends is, oh my god, the giant boss monster has appeared. Cut. That was literally like, that's what we were looking forward to in the entire gameplay. And you stopped right there at that second. So, yeah man, final thoughts on EA. This was pathetic. This was bad, and it wasn't just bad, it was bad at a time when they needed to come in here and knock people's socks off. They needed to come in here and prove to everyone, hey, we actually know what we're doing, and we're sorry, here's the big ass cake to apologize. They gave us like a tiny cupcake with like barely any frosting on top, and they still kind of like took a lick off of it first before they handed it to us. But man, it just says so much about how far EA has fallen that during the Anthem video, they literally stopped and go, there will be no loot boxes. And everyone applauded. It's like, that's not a thing to applaud. That's kind of like coming in here and saying, hey, at McDonald's, we're not spitting in your fries. Yeah! It's like, no, that's not what you applaud. That is what you stand there with your arms crossed and you nod firmly like, yes. That is what you nod like, you had better not. I'm glad you learned that lesson. So yeah, this was a pathetic way to start off E3 and also just a sad direction for EA to go. EA, it's one thing to like not try and recover from your follies. It's another thing to try and recover from your follies, and it's still nothing but follies. Yeah, man, this was bad. But if you guys want to see my thoughts on the rest of EA, we are doing these videos for every single one of the conferences. So I believe the Xbox One is next. So, hey man, nowhere to go but up right now. So make sure that you come back for that. But also, as I said, head on over to twitch.tv/ProfessorThorgE. We are streaming every single one of these live when they happen over there on Twitch. So make sure that you join us, enjoy the chat over there, have some fun. I'm going to go and just pray to Xbox God, pray to Microsoft Jesus out there that they can turn this thing around. Thanks everyone. Come back next time. Bye.